Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about buyer's remorse. We've all bought things we regret. Join us as we share and even laugh about the items we've wished we would have passed on over the years. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about buyer's remorse. We've all experienced this. We've bought things, gadgets, appliances, shoes, clothing, etc. that we regret. And either we didn't need it, spent too much money, or it just never worked out the way we thought it would. And you know, buyer's remorse, it's something that we all experience. And yet a lot of times we have a hard time remembering exactly what it was. We know what that feeling feels like, but we have a hard time looking back and saying, oh, what did I feel that about? Because inevitably we go and repeat the same cycle all over again. So we must not learn much from our past experiences.
That's right.
But Mindy and Julie, do you guys have some stories to share with listeners today?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. I was thinking about this topic when we were first dating. Our favorite show was The Cosby Show. And that's when we thought Bill Cosby was a nice man. And now we know he's not.
I know, that was sad.
But he was always buying the latest and greatest gadgets for their home. And his wife would say, we don't need that. And he just had to have it. And they used to joke that it would end up in the appliance graveyard. So we've always used that term, the appliance graveyard, for things that mostly that John has bought.
John does like the latest and the greatest.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, Julie, I'll share with listeners. I was taking care of your cats last week, and I walked by your pantry, and you have a special shelf built along the very top, and there are probably 25 appliances lining the shelf. How many of those do you get up there and get back down?
Well, some of those are John's purchases. So I was going to try to stick to my own, but that would be his ice cream maker.
I was just thinking, first of all, you'd pretty much have to get a ladder to get them down. And then
those were like a coffee urn for a party.
Yeah,
they were
like
things for parties.
A lot of big things, but I thought it's kind of like an appliance graveyard because you're only going to go up there if you really, really need it.
Yeah, that was mostly entertaining stuff. So.
Oh, this is bad. I'm so glad Marie's not been in my house lately.
Yeah, really. I didn't know.
Julie, you need to go to Marie's house and watch her dog and cat.
I will just say the pantry door is open as you walk into the house.
Oh, you didn't go snooping. It just jumped out at you.
It's always open.
Yeah, I'll keep your pets, Marie, and then we'll have a good topic idea for the next podcast.
Oh. All right, well, let's get started with just an easy one. And I'm sure we have a million, but of course, when we're put on the spot, we can't think of anything. But what are some items, or even just one item, that you purchased and you never ended up using? Maybe you never even took it out of the package.
I can go first on this because it just happened. We just got back from the beach and I was all excited to go to the beach and I went and bought another sun hat that I will never wear.
Why won't you wear it, Mindy? What is it like?
I don't know. I think I want to look like Audrey Hepburn with like the glasses and the hat. And I think, oh, this will look so fabulous. And I have my sarong that matches my bathing suit. And I get to the beach and I'm in my Nike visor or like a baseball cap if it's windy. And then I'm in just, my bathing suit and some like workout shorts. Like that's the beach look, I'm like, oh, I can't get all dressed up to look like I'm going to a fashion show. But every time I go, I think, oh, this is going to look fabulous. I have to get this.
Yes. Well, and then you said you went during a tropical depression, so the wind would have whipped that thing right off your head.
That sun hat that is so fabulous looking still has the tags on it.
Oh.
It never got onto my head.
I do have several of those too, Mindy. I think they're going to look better than they do.
Yeah. And they take up a lot of room in your suitcase.
I know. It's sad. So unfortunately, the sun hat came home with the tag still on.
Yeah. All right, Julie, do you have something that you just bought? You had to have it, and then you never ended up using it.
Yeah, at one time, and y'all are going to laugh, I really, really wanted a Bowflex home weight system. As seen on TV. I think you can only buy them there on TV.
That's right.
And they're very expensive. And John was like, we really don't need that. You've had other exercise equipment that have turned into nice clothes hangers. I don't really think you need it. But I was just insistent. So I found a kind of a knockoff brand at Sears.
And Sears, this is a while ago because Sears isn't even in business anymore.
That thing was so heavy. You had to put it together. It came in a million parts. And I had to set it up in the garage because it was so heavy. Of course, I never used it out there. It was so hot.
Right.
And it was just awful because it all just came back. John was like, kind of like I told you so. I knew this wasn't going to get used because I think I had a Nordic track that I had, and that was a clothes hanger, So I really, really regretted buying this thing because it became really apparent quickly that I wasn't going to use it.
Well, and then every time you drive in the garage, you're faced with the fact that you either should use it today or you haven't used it. I would hate that.
Yes. And then when I sold it, I think I sold it on Craigslist. You have to advertise it like, well, why are you selling it? It's a great piece of equipment. I just never use it.
Oh, man.
Wow, that sounds like a guilt and shame producer daily.
So after that, I realized no more exercise equipment at the house. That's been my policy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I know. I mean, just in the pandemic, I recently ordered some weights because, a lot of times the gyms were closed. And of course, they took forever to come in. And now they're there, but I can go out to the gym again. So I'm not using them. And every time I walk in the bonus room, I think, I don't really want to get rid of these because it was so hard to even get any weights sent to my house. But on the other hand, I don't want to store them either. So it is hard with exercise equipment.
You're ready for the next pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm still sitting here hopeful. We actually bought commercial grade equipment before we left Knoxville to come to Georgia. And y'all, it doesn't fit through the door in the basement.
Oh.
So we have a room downstairs, but we actually have to buy a different door to get it into the house. And then we have to get a commercial grade plug for the electrical outlet for the treadmill.
Oh, wow.
So we're trying to retrofit our house. Y'all, we better use this equipment. Okay. Better. I have dreams of training people in the basement one day. And so we're trying to get that set up. But right now it's sitting in the unfinished part of the basement and nobody can use it yet.
Oh, well, do you have to walk by it every day, Mindy?
No, I can close that door, Marie.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's not in the garage.
Well, here's a smaller than exercise equipment item that I bought, but it still was just something that I finally just did give to Goodwill. So I guess it was last year on my birthday. Everybody was into weighted blankets, and I was probably 5 years behind the fad anyways, but I just decided I've heard enough people rave about things. I'm putting on my birthday list. I want one. I picked out one where you could remove the cover and just wash it. And so you weren't trying to wash the big weighted part. And of course, I did a lot of research on it like I always do, even for small items. And I picked it out and I got it for my birthday. And I bet I used it 2 times. And even then it was just to make myself use it. They are just not that comfortable. They're just not. I don't know. I didn't like the feeling of them. It was 15 pounds, and maybe I should have gotten the 12-pound one. I don't know. But even I tried using it on my bed, and it felt too hot and heavy. I tried leaving it down in the living room, thinking maybe I'll use it in the winter when I'm, watching TV. But it's so big and heavy to even carry over to the couch. I wouldn't grab it out of the basket. It just sat at the bottom of the basket.
I was surprised at how heavy those were.
Yes.
I got one for someone for Christmas, and when it's all folded up, it really is heavy.
Yeah.
You're weightlifting. It's like the farmer carry, You're lifting heavy weights just to get it in the house or get it in your shopping basket. But
yeah, it's just not comfortable.
It was good for my daughter at college. She liked having that there, but I don't think she's used it since.
Yeah.
So freshman year of college, it was kind of a neat thing for her, but no more.
Yeah. So if you're in the Nashville area, I did just donate an almost brand new one to the Goodwill. So
I was thinking about, like you mentioned, Julie's appliances that line that top shelf.
Yeah.
So, okay, so because we have moved, it's made us go through these things. And so that's why I had a hard time thinking about these things at first, because if they didn't get used at that house, we did get rid of it before we moved it to another house. Or if we're moving into a house, we rethink it again. We're like, do we really want to put this back on the shelf to take up space?
Right.
You know, not every kitchen has enough space to put all your extra appliances. So I'm thinking about the panini maker, the waffle maker, the ice cream maker. Those are no longer with us.
You said your goodbyes in Pennsylvania.
But you know what? Like, even our toaster oven didn't make it. And just the other day, Bryce and I were like, we need a toaster oven.
Oh, no, I couldn't live without my toaster oven. I use it every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah, I think that's come with learning how to cook more foods. Like, when we had it, we were too immature to even want to use it. You know?
Right.
So I think we might have buyer's remorse again, but who knows? I think we're going to be buying some of those things again.
Oh, that's funny. Well, how about times that you followed a fad? I did this a few years ago with Amazon Prime Day. Everybody was having an Instapot and they had a good deal. And of course, with a large family, I still had, I think, everyone at home. I decided that I needed the biggest Instapot. So when it came, I was shocked by how big it was. Like, I had to adjust room on my shelves to even fit it. And I have probably, I don't know, the first year I owned it, I probably took it out once a month. And then like the second, like maybe 6 times the whole year. And I don't even know if I've taken it out in 2021, you guys, at all.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would say the verdict's still out on my Instapot, because when I do use it, I'm really pleased with it. In fact, it's kind of amazing. But I just don't ever get it out anymore. So probably because I don't cook anymore. So that would have a lot to do with it. But I just don't know that it was worth all
No.
Didn't live up to the hype, I don't think.
No. I don't know how to cook in it. Like, it's not intuitive enough. It's not easy enough to know like exactly what setting I should put it on. It will turn out foolproof every time. It's just not that kind of a machine for me. Mindy, you're nodding your head. Have you experienced the Instapot?
Okay, so I'm still holding out, and I am really waiting this fad out, because I've heard different things, and I've kind of sat back and watched, and I'm still not sold on, do I need it, because of the things that we have gotten rid of that I have just mentioned.
Right.
Yes.
But I was going to say I do. I was just thinking of something funny. Do you remember when like the Ninja came and like the Bullet and all the stuff to make smoothies at home? Okay, so we got the Ninja, and Bryce was super excited. We have learned over the years, he's the one that will use appliances. The only real appliances that I use, I don't even pull out my electric can opener. I would prefer to use my manual. So the electric can opener does not get used. The only mixer I use is the handheld one. And the one that I got at our wedding 24 years ago just died. So I did rebuy that. But I just use a crock pot, and I use a skillet. And then I use like pots and pans and, stuff like that. But no, like we got the Ninja, and Bryce does use it. He will make smoothies, but now it's more for making shakes. Like, the healthy smoothie has gone by the wayside, and now it's for ice cream and homemade milkshakes.
It's gone from the dark side from the light side to the dark side.
We found a great use for that Ninja.
Oh, man.
Well, I have in my graveyard, I have the Keurig. I have a bread machine, panini maker. I'm not sure why it's so important to have little stripes on your sandwich. And and a side-by-side refrigerator. I remember our first refrigerator, I just thought that's the coolest thing, because growing up, we did not have that. And I thought that was the thing to have. And I hated it from day one, because at least ours, you couldn't fit a pizza box in the freezer side. It had to be tilted up, and then all the pepperoni slid off of it. And I just hated that. So we replaced that pretty quickly, and that's just our garage freezer now, like for extra stuff. But my biggest regret that was a fad was the green egg.
Oh, that's what Mindy just said that she has at her house.
But I'll say the food tastes delicious in it. It does. It's not that. It's just there's a huge learning curve with that thing.
Right.
And we had a gas grill before, and I could just go out and light that and use it instantly. Well, this thing uses charcoal, so you have to, get it going. You have to think about it probably an hour before you want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not convenient. So about 2 weeks ago, I was feeling really guilty that we weren't using it. So I pulled it out, and we have kind of an aggregate patio, and I was trying to pull it out from the wall, and one of the wheels was locked. So I didn't know that, and I just kept pulling it.
Oh, no.
And this thing probably weighs 150 to 200 pounds. It's like a thick ceramic bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the little stand collapsed.
Oh.
Because it's just metal. It's a very lightweight stand. And the green egg fell over.
Oh, no. It's like Humpty Dumpty. Don't go crazy.
It hit the concrete. It didn't break. Well, then I'm trying to use the lid to pull the thing up, and the lid is just held on with a metal band. It slipped out of the metal band.
No, Julie.
Thankfully, it wasn't hot. This was before I don't know what would have happened had it been hot, but I seriously started to look around to see if I was on candid camera because it was like Humpty Dumpty. You just couldn't get it back up.
Oh, I'm thinking of all the injuries you could have had, like broken foot, if that thing had fallen on you.
I know. I did think about my foot because David and I could barely get it back upright again.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
Julie.
my goodness. Does it still work?
Yeah.
It does, but the lid never quite went on the same again.
Did you ever even tell John, or when he listens to this, is this the first time he's going to hear about it?
This is the first time he's going to hear about it. But he knows that we don't use it very much. But see, he's not the griller. I'm the griller.
Okay.
Okay.
But some people have it in those cool wooden, mounted kitchens. That would be better. This little stand does not hold up.
Oh, man.
Oh, Julie, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I don't think we would have ever gone out and bought one because almost like the Instapot, I sat back and watched and I see different, people using it, but ours came with the house and it's built into the kitchen downstairs. So there's no moving it or anything. And, but no, we still talk about it and we're like, yeah, okay, now that we're back from the beach, we really have to learn how to use this thing, but we use our gas grill that's on our upstairs deck all the time. Because it is easy. I think you almost have to have both if you have room for it.
Yeah. So you don't have your gas grill at all anymore, Julie?
No, it broke, so we just got rid of it, and then we thought, let's try this. Looks interesting, and
time for a gas grill.
Hey, Father's Day just passed. Could it be a late Father's Day present?
Well, like I said, he's not the griller, so that doesn't really.
But just say it's a Father's Day present.
Happy July 4th. We gotta go. Happy first day of summer.
Right. Oh.
So I just mentioned this, but the fad that Bryce and I followed was our first couch and love seat, and we followed the trend of the colors. And I told you that our first couch and love seat were hunter green and cream plaid, and it was so bright and obnoxious. And I just full on into that fad all over the couch and love seat. You know what I mean? Like it threw up on my living room furniture. Never again will I buy a large piece of foundational furniture in a fad color. I will always stick with neutrals because of that purchase.
Yeah.
Couch, or like I said, if it's a foundational furniture piece, I'll do fads on pillows, maybe a rug, maybe curtains, but I will not do it on a large piece of furniture ever again.
That reminds me of people saying, never, ever again will I perm my hair. They're like some mistakes that you just don't come back from.
That's true.
You don't repeat those again.
Me having short hair, I just know myself. It has to fit in a ponytail.
Right. Well, how about things that you paid too much money for?
Well, I have two things.
Okay.
One is one that John paid too much money for.
Okay.
But it was, again, and it was for me. And it's the I don't know if you say Breville or Breville food processor.
Oh. Oh.
And it's super nice. It will dice, slice, chop, julienne, anything you want it to, including your fingers. And it's just too much to get out. I mean, the thing it has its own cabinet. It weighs about 20 pounds. And then it has another box just as big as the food processor with all the blades and the attachments.
Oh, no.
And then you have to clean all that. And it's very sharp. Like you can't even touch it. And so I've cut my fingers several times. And
oh my goodness.
I mean, it's super nice, but it is just,
it's too much.
If you're gonna cut an onion or grate some cheese, you're not getting that out. You'd have to be chopping vegetables all day to justify owning this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you still own it?
I still own it. I think I did ask for a food processor, but I was kind of thinking something mini, kind of small.
Yeah.
Oh, so, John does it. He does it all out the right way the first time. Like it is the best.
So it is a great food processor. I'm very thankful for it, but I just can't justify owning it.
Hopefully you can get some good money out of that on Facebook Marketplace.
I know. I'm starting to think, I've got a Facebook Marketplace list going here. The green egg.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I bought that did not cost that much money at all, but any amount of money was too much money for this item. I told you I'm a sucker for Instagram ads. Well, I saw these really cute shoes. This was during the pandemic. And they appeared to be leather, and they appeared to have a cork sole.
Oh,
I kind of thought they weren't going to be leather because of the price. They were in the $20 range, $20 or $30.
Yeah.
Well, I get them, and they're kind of like a platform sole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said they were a cork sole. They have literally a vinyl sticker around the platform.
No way. To
make it look like cork. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So my family has laughed at me because I occasionally wear them.
Oh, you do? Well, it must be pretty realistic if you're willing to wear them.
Yeah, but it's just like, really? Who would have ever thought? Like, I knew the leather was probably not going to be leather, but I'd never thought about putting a sticker on the heel to look like cork.
Yes, that is.
What brand is this, Julie?
Well, they're not brands. They're just on Instagram, it's never anything you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
you can't return it, or it's a company that already went out of business.
Or it's it's on the other side of the world, and it would take 6 months to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't one of those Instagram ads that I fall for, so that's why.
Yeah.
Oh. So I just said never again on Instagram.
I know. I've bought a dress like that, Julie. And the dress looks so beautiful on the Instagram ad. And I love long dresses. Mm-hmm. And so I was super thrilled about this. And it came in, like 6 months later after I ordered it.
Yeah.
And it literally was the cheapest, non-breathable, felt like a parachute material. The color was off from what it showed. And it was like a $36 dress, but I'm not fooled anymore by these beautiful pictures of these beautiful summer long flowing dresses. I'm like, somebody else has to buy it first and tell me that it's legitimate.
Yeah.
I know. I've done the same thing. I did buy a dress, and it looked like a child that was learning to sew might have put this together.
Yeah.
And I never could wear it. And then I still get sucked in. I think, that maybe this one will be better because this is so cute. Yep. But I just have said, nope, I can't do it because I know it's probably going to be really cheap.
Catfished.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I paid too much money. I mean, I know I've paid too much money for different things over the years, but this one always sticks out in my mind because we had little kids, and I just didn't spend a lot of money. Like, I just didn't buy a lot of expensive things. But, normally I would just buy like the 2 for $5 flip-flops at Old Navy and call it good for the summer. But this year I decided I was going to buy real Birkenstocks because I don't know, I must have been talking to someone who was raving about how comfortable they are and how they mold to fit your feet and how wonderful they are. And so there was a store in my town that had opened up and sold those kind of shoes, and I decided I would go down there and buy some. And they were like $100 back then. I mean, I probably bought these 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I never paid that much money for shoes. And I was just convinced I was just going to wear these things in and out. They were going to be like a second skin on my feet.
That's right.
They were the most uncomfortable shoes. I tried wearing them like a certain portion of each day to try to break them in. And like, why? How could people rave about these shoes? I never thought they were comfortable. Ever. And I was just sick that I had spent $100 and they lived in the back of my closet for years. And every summer I would look at them, but I would think, I just can't make these things comfortable. And I always think of them when I'm about to drop $100 on shoes. I'm like, are they really shoes that you will wear and think are genuinely comfortable? Or did someone just tell you they'll become comfortable?
Oh, I love mine. I'll buy them from you, Marie.
Oh, I got rid of them, Julie. Finally, I did.
So, Marie, did you see? I'm currently wearing my Birkenstocks that I am in love with. And I think I said before on a podcast, something that I always wanted growing up is I always had fake ones, like from Walmart when I was a teenager. And so I just, right before we left Knoxville, those buy one, get one half off stores, the shoe stores that have Birkenstocks, they will include Birkenstocks in the deal if the other pair is not Birkenstocks.
Oh, okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So they're still $100, but I've worn these. I have some white Birkenstocks, and they're going to be my I'm a fan today. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I wear them all the time.
But do you genuinely find them comfortable? They just hurt my feet. They just did not make my feet feel good.
I could hike in mine. I could hike or walk in mine.
Wow. Yeah. And you know, I thought it used to be because maybe I'd tried fake ones, but no, I bought real ones, and they still did not feel good on my feet.
You know, I made that mistake with Chacos. I bought those. That was the fact, and I do not think they're comfortable.
Okay.
Me too, Julie. That's one of mine that I spent too much. I don't like them. They're clunky, heavy. The
sole is irritating.
Uncomfortable. I could never get the straps adjusted right. And all these people that love their Chacos, and I'm like, I don't get it. Because
I'm thinking about selling mine on Facebook because my daughter just bought a pair on Facebook. So I thought, I know there's a lot of them out there.
Yes.
After this episode, listeners, you need to find Julie on Facebook. She's going to be listing a lot of nice items.
She really is. Wow.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that you bought that you didn't really need. I have something that I bought. Well, actually, I must have been just going through a lot of fads and things that I wished I had last year on my birthday, because this was also on my birthday list last year. My daughter bought it for me, and I was so happy that she bought it for me, but I just don't think that I really use it, and I didn't really need it the way that it is. It's an Alexa. Like, I asked for it. I was thrilled to get it, but the only thing I've ever used it for is to say, Alexa, play such and such. Or I do have one plug hooked up to it where I'll say, Alexa, turn off the lights. But I don't really like it that much, especially this past year after all the people have talked about government intrusion. I don't like the idea of that thing listening to me. So Abigail, I'm so sorry, but I think I might have to get rid of that Alexa, even though it was such a thoughtful gift. Like, I really did ask for it, but it bothers me now, kind of in the back of my mind. What do you have you guys followed for the Alexa?
Didn't we tease you about that when you got it?
I think I said it was an I'm a fan. Like, I really did like it, but now I'm like, oh, I don't know. And Isaac in the house, you know, he's always like, oh, we have that thing, you don't even use it, and here it is listening all the time. And I'm thinking, yeah, it is.
Isaac's a little Marie. Wow. I'm thinking of all the different skincare and makeup items that I thought that I had to have, or spending a lot of money on certain makeup items that you don't need to spend a lot of money on, or hair products. But like, I remember going to a Mary Kay party when I was like 20 years old. And I got so scared by the presentation that I was going to get wrinkles in 5 years that I was like, I need to buy all these eye creams and preventative this and that and that. And I'm like, I don't need satin hands. I don't need the eye cream.
Yeah.
Anything. And it happens to me about every 10 years. I'm noticing a trend that, like, when I'm hitting a new decade, I'm like, oh, I need to go to the skincare clinic and see, like, what do I need to do? And no, like, wash your face with your Neutrogena and put your, like,
yeah.
I mean, sunscreen, moisturizer. It doesn't take expensive things to try to have good self-care. And so I've spent way too much money on products thinking that it was going to change my life. And it didn't. I'm still me.
That happens to me with hair care products. Inevitably, once a year, I'll buy what promises beautiful beach waves. Ooh. This year, I bought a crimper. I don't know how to use that thing. I mean, it looked great on Abigail's hair. I look just like ridiculous. And then she'll send me like a link to a product that promises to make my hair like beach waves. But you know what happens? It always weighs my hair down, makes it look like greasy. And I don't know. I can't make them work right. And then I throw it away.
Yeah.
Even when I go to the beach, I don't have beautiful beach waves. So I don't know why I think that I'm going to be able to put a product on to get beautiful beach waves.
If you can't have them at the beach, you can't have them anywhere.
Ever the optimist with the beach waves. You can have my sun hat and just cover that up.
I know. All right, Julie, what did you buy that you didn't really need?
Well, probably everything I've mentioned already can fit into that category. But I don't know. I didn't have a specific for that one.
Okay. There's probably just too many things. Like the cork shoes. Did you need them? No.
No.
The cork in quotes.
Yes.
Cork vinyl strip.
Yes.
I'll have to post a picture of those lovely things.
I think that's using our old laminate flooring that we've all gotten rid of.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about something that you found a better deal on later? I think this happened to us last year. My husband wanted to treat himself. And so he wanted one of those Theraguns, those massage guns, those things that you hear about. And I don't know, they're like $200 at Target or something. And so he wanted to treat himself. He was having muscle pain. He never wants to treat himself. So we bought the real thing, the Theragun. And that thing hurts. Like it doesn't even massage. It literally just pummels. So we took that back and we bought the mini, thinking, well, maybe the mini will have less power. And that still just pummeled. And then my son, here's the find a better deal later. My son's like, oh, well, you can just buy a massage gun for like $50 on Amazon. And that's what he did, and he liked it. And so there are better deals out there than the Theragun, and you do not need to spend $200 to have your muscles in pain.
That thing was very powerful.
Yes.
It was kind of scary, actually.
It was not like, let me sit here and watch TV and relax with my Theragun. No. What have you guys found better deals on?
Well, I have one, but it was a better deal years later. Okay. I bought a pre-lit Christmas tree and I really regretted it because, in a year or two, half the lights burn out the week before Christmas. So you're stuck with a tree full of ornaments and the middle third is dark.
Right. That's right.
So that is very frustrating to have to go and put lights on a pre-lit Christmas tree. But that was probably 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
So I did just buy one last year. I bought it after Christmas, so they're on sale after Christmas, and it has LED lights, so they will not burn out.
Okay.
Or at least, not for a long, long time. So
right.
That's something I wish I had waited for the technology to improve before I bought, because that was a big regret.
Yes. Yeah. I have the same thing, Julie. Ironically, we have just had to get rid of all of our trees, like anything that wasn't in a tote. We had stored in Knoxville in an exterior garage that was away from the house, but we were on like 4 acres in our rental house. And when we went to move, all of these expensive Christmas trees that I had been retrofitting with extra lights because of that happening, mice had found them.
Oh.
And we left them by the roadside for the trash dump. And I was like, well, there's all the Christmas. And Bryce was like, now, Mindy, we don't want to move these for sure, but like, you can't go buy a Christmas tree at Christmas time. So I think I need to get on Facebook Marketplace now or try to see if there's some deal somewhere now that it's almost July. Maybe I can find a Christmas tree for this year because
Gosh,
They
Minnie, mice have not been your friend.
They are gone. I know. It was living. It was really like living on a farm almost.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's what happened. But thankfully, we have been mouse free. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since we left, but it was that particular property that it was like being on a farm, and I was like, oh, this is what it's like. Okay, not for me.
Well, is there anything that you guys bought that you didn't understand what you were getting into when you bought it? I mean, Julie, you sound like maybe the green egg was one of those things you didn't understand what you were getting into, but is there anything else?
I do have kind of a funny story. This is not a tangible item, though.
Okay.
When we were traveling, our daughter studied in Vienna through her college one semester. So John and I went over to visit her. She was in Vienna, and we were going to take a trip to Paris, John and I. And we thought it would be fun to take an overnight train ride. You know, how romantic is that?
Yeah.
But when we started looking at the prices to get a sleeping car with beds, it was quite pricey. So we thought, oh, let's just look at another car that had reclining seats. And it wasn't private. I think it was 4 seats. And the seats, recline. So I thought, well, that's all I need is a recliner. That'll be fine. So I remember getting on the train and we're walking past all the sleeper cars, and they just looked so lovely. We get to our car. We go in the door, and there's already a couple in there. So there's the 2 seats, the other 2 seats are taken. And they had brought their own food, and it was Chinese food, like cabbage. So it's just filling the whole thing. And I thought it was odd that they had brought food. Like, why would you bring your own food on a train? John and I had planned to go to the dining car and have dinner. I find out they don't have a dining car. There is 0 food on this train.
What?
So we're getting on in the afternoon and have to stay on till the next morning. We have no food.
Goodness, Julie.
And these people next to us are eating this Chinese meal, so it's just right in our face. And the seats recline maybe an inch, like less than an airplane seat.
Oh my goodness.
And then the worst part is the couple next to us acts as if we are not there, if you know what I mean.
Uh-oh.
So it was the most uncomfortable night I had ever spent. I was starving. I was tired, and I wasn't sure what was about to happen in the seat next to me. So I did not do my research on that one to understand what a regular car was all about.
Oh my goodness.
And so we just kicked ourselves that we didn't spend the money on the sleeping car. We're like, never again. If we ever do this again, never again, because it was not what they said it was, or not what I thought it was going to be. Because I'd seen pictures of my daughter on a train on a reclining seat, and it was very nice. Well, that was not this train. It was miserable.
Oh my goodness.
That's awful, Julie. Yeah, when that will stick in your mind, you will never ever forget that. And
this other couple, they weren't American, so they were speaking another language. So I just felt like they were probably talking about us the whole night.
Oh, that's miserable.
It was just really strange.
Oh, well, you have a good story to share today. Silver linings.
Oh.
I don't know if either of us can top that, Mindy.
I don't think that I can. That does sound completely awful.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of things that I've not known what I was getting into and didn't research it. Mostly, I feel like they fall around. I just remember, and I think I've shared this before. This is why we won't go on any dinner cruises like the General Jackson or anything that promises to take you out for a nice 2-hour cruise, feed you a meal. They've never been what they say they are. And we always want to get off. And they're always twice as long as they said they would be. And we just don't ever like them.
I will say that going to, I love going to the Gulf. And we've just gotten back from the Gulf. But we have changed where we want to go in the Gulf. Because we had too many times where we felt like we were spending a fortune on where we were staying, and then the place felt so gross, not understanding what the room was like or what the beach was like that was you wake up on the ocean. Well, so does everybody else.
Yeah.
And so those are things that make just you mentally say like that we are not doing that again. I will find a better room. Our accommodations need to be enjoyable. And it does remind me of like a pivotal moment in Bryce and my early marriage years of our very first apartment was really nice. But we found out there was this other apartment, the year after when it was time for us to renew our lease that we could spend half as much. And it was a little farther from campus, but we were like, oh, this would be great. Like we need to do that. We'll just drive to campus and catch the shuttle to go to classes instead of being able to walk to campus like we did our first year of marriage. Well, we spent half as much, but it was in kind of a scary part of town. And the garage was detached and it was behind our apartment. So like, if I came home at night and Bryce wasn't there, I would literally run from the car to the apartment to get in. And that was almost like Julie and John's night. Like it made such a mental memory for us, such a negative experience of being afraid at home that we always prioritized where we ended up living because we always end up spending a little more than what we want with where we live because we want to feel safe when we go home.
Minor details.
Exactly.
Like, okay, wait, that's important actually.
Oh.
I feel like everybody probably learns a lot on one trip that they've maybe not planned out as well as they thought they did, and you stay somewhere that's not what you thought.
I will just say reviews. Like I won't stay anywhere. Well, I will stay in a hotel if it's like a major chain, but like I won't rent an Airbnb if I don't like the reviews. And I am looking for certain keywords and I am looking for, even if it's one bad experience, but I think that if the person was very sincere in what they're saying, that will override 10 supposedly positive 5-star reviews if I think that the person was legit.
You're so right. You're so right. It's all about reviews these days. With all these things online that we try to do, like we've talked about buying dresses and shoes and, Airbnb is an amazing app. I love to use it, but yeah, you have to really read reviews about the whole thing. It takes a lot of research.
Right.
I did think of another category too of a time where I felt like I paid too little and therefore I didn't get what I really wanted. Have you ever done that?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
yeah.
Because I just remember when we bought our dining room furniture, John's philosophy was always, let's don't buy something we don't really want and then replace it because that costs money. Like, let's just wait. So we didn't have dining room furniture for probably 5 or 6 years in our house. And we finally got the dining room table and I think a buffet and then these chairs. I just thought, oh, these chairs are so expensive. So I went with ones that were a little cheaper. And I thought of that every day I looked at those chairs. I thought, I do not like these chairs. I do. And I had them until last year. So I've had them for almost 30 years. And I thought, the difference in price over those 30 years would have been so insignificant. But I do that a lot. I make purchases. I'll choose the cheaper item that's just a little cheaper, but it's going to be around for a long time, And I find myself doing that a lot. And I don't know. John doesn't do that, but I tend to go like, oh no, let's save money here. And then I'm not happy with it.
I know I've done that, Julie. I can't think of a specific thing now, but I mean, I do it all the time,
Me too. And in fact, currently my dining room's empty and I keep thinking about you, Julie. And I am actually in the point of I cannot make a decision about dining room furniture because I don't know if I really know what I want or what we will need or what will last. And so I'm actually putting the decision off and it's stressing me because I don't know what decision to make.
Well, just wait on it a little more. Maybe
just
it'll come
put like a folding table and chairs in there and see how you end up using it. See if
you ever go in there.
Yeah, just to see like how many people do we typically have in here? Like if you really don't know,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I have learned one trick that I try to use over the years that has saved me, I think, a lot of heartache, though it still save me from myself completely because I'm still me. But one thing is if I get all excited and I feel like I have to buy something like right then, if the deal is only good for so long, I have learned to just wait. Don't get suckered into the hurry up and you have to buy me right now. I have learned that there is no item out there that needs to be purchased right now. Typically, if I'm living fine without it, I can live fine without it another day, and the Lord will provide it in the future if we really need it. But no, Bryce and I are like, okay, house purchases, small or big, I just think, okay, if I can sleep on it at least one night, just sleep on it. Don't rush.
That is so true. I've found that if I do sleep on it, if I walk away, I probably 90% of the time won't even buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted it while I was there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I do is I almost will never buy something, no matter how much I want it, if I cannot return it. Because I need the freedom to be able to return it. I may or may not, but for some reason, I just cannot pull the trigger on something if I'm not going to be able to return it. Unless it's like a used item and a super good deal, like, a Goodwill item or something, but I mean, I like to be able to return things, even like Black Friday deals or anything like that. I want to be able to return it at least a week later.
I like that, Marie.
For that peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, listeners, I'm sure that you guys have many stories that you could also share about buyer's remorse. Isn't it great to know that you're not alone? That it happens to all of us. And it's comforting to know that no matter how many years of experience you have, it's still going to happen to you. You cannot escape it.
And if I sell all of this on Facebook, you guys, somebody out there will love these items.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't use them doesn't mean you won't.
That's true.
Right. So listeners, come and find us on Instagram this week. We would love to hear about what you have had buyer's remorse, and maybe we'll be able to think of a few more. Come and find us at Midlife Matters Podcast on Instagram or email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we need to do I'm a Fan. And Mindy, we already know what you're a fan of this week.
Let me just describe my fabulous shoes to you. They were an investment, but I decided to kind of step out and get a color. Like I got white Birkenstocks, and they are the classic design with a little twist. So the straps, instead of being the same width as kind of the classic slip-on, the straps are a little bit thinner, and they look just a tad bit more feminine.
Okay.
And like I said, they're bright white. I typically do not enjoy bright white sandals, but for some reason, ever since buying these, I gravitate towards them every single day. In the morning, if my feet are cold, I put socks on with my Birkenstocks and I wear them around the house. And then when I go out, I just slip my socks off and I go. And for some reason, these have been my favorite shoe, Marie. And I don't know, like I love them. I love them so much.
Oh, well, I'm happy for you. I am happy for you, Mindy.
They're my perfect summer shoe.
I've only had 2 pair, and my first pair were white.
Oh, that's cool, Julie.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, now, are you finding that they're staying white, Mindy?
They actually are, and very surprising.
Okay.
It was kind of a fluff. Like I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a chance on these. You know?
Yeah.
They look really good. And they still are bright white. And I've worn them in the rain. I wore them at the beach. Like when I'm done with my workouts, this is what I put on. Like,
great.
I wear them at night, in the morning around the house. Like, everything.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying them, and they're not going to be sitting at the back of your closet like they were mine.
Definitely no.
Well, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of Trader Joe's French roast cold brew coffee concentrate.
Oh.
So you mix 1 part coffee with 2 parts milk or water, and I use oat milk, and then I put it on ice.
Oh,
and it's just a nice treat in the summer. It's quick, so I don't have to wait on my coffee to brew, and it's just refreshing in the summer. I love cold coffee.
Yeah. Now, is this just something new that you found, or you just have been using it and thought you'd share? Like, is it a new item at Trader Joe's?
It's not a new item, but I've just been buying it recently. David really loves it. And, at the grocery, I see a lot of cold coffee, but it's already mixed with something. It already has milk or something in it. But this is just the coffee concentrate, so you can make it however you want.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Okay, I have something. Last week, I shared my red ices that I got at Aldi's. And you guys, I brought the box up here to show you. This is something even better that I found this week.
Ooh.
Barks root beer vanilla ice cream float. They're tubes. They're kind of like the push-up tubes. I love root beer floats, but they, you have to pretty much go out and buy one. I mean, I guess I could keep root beer and vanilla ice cream, but they're kind of more of a treat. And when I saw these they're just a great little snack. It says it's frozen root beer and vanilla ice cream. And it's just in a little push-up tube. It's just the perfect amount. It's so yummy. And when I took it through the line, I had like 4 boxes because it was an Aldi's find. And so actually, I think I had 3 because it was 8 tubes in a box. And I thought, do I really need more than 24 tubes, Marie? But I thought, well, I don't know. What if they're not here next time? And I hid them way in the back of my freezer so that my kids wouldn't start eating them. Because what if I can't find these at Aldi again? I've never seen them, but basically it's just a little frozen root beer in a little push-up tube. It really is good.
But they're all gone at the store because Marie bought them all.
Marie's hoarding them all.
The cashier said, you are not going to regret these. Have you had these?
Oh.
Yeah, she said these are so good. So when I go again this week, I'm going to pick up some more boxes because...
Y'all, I have never shopped at Aldi, and we actually have one in LaGrange, and I need to try it.
Oh,
Maybe
go
we
down
should do
there
an
and ask if they
episode.
have the Barks root beer.
But we don't have a Trader Joe's, so I really need to check it out. I need to go.
Yes.
Well,
we'll
maybe
go to
we
Aldi.
need to do an Aldi episode.
I think
because
so.
they do have some good finds.
I know. I
Yes.
think we need to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, listeners, we hope you enjoyed our buyer's remorse and get yourself some of our I'm a fans. All right, ladies, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great.
All right. Bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.